I will send the verification code to my brother. Mistakenly sent to the ex-girlfriend of a top celebrity. Ex-girlfriend replies instantly. 1607. Room number. You couldn't hold back, came looking for me. Do you think I'd go? How funny. Is it still that same hotel? On the way. I'll be there within half an hour. Don't think too much. I'm not getting back together with you. It's just that there's no water at my place tonight. I'm just going to take a shower. Although I've been working on my ABS lately. But it's not something you can just look at. I looked like an elderly person on the subway staring at my phone. I replied to her. I sent it to the wrong person. Then I turned off my phone and went to sleep. Had a peaceful night's sleep. The next day, the trending search exploded. The normally aloof top celebrity was found crying by the big tree outside the hotel. Crying like a kettle with the lid off. When I turned on my phone that morning, my hand nearly went numb from the vibrations. Countless messages flooded in. Before I could even look, I received a call from my buddy Mingyu. Fang Yuan, hurry up and tell me. What exactly did you do to Bai Ningbing? I was completely confused. What? I didn't do anything. How could I? His tone was excited. Like a rabbit hopping through a melon field. Besides you, who else does she have as an ex? Quick, look at the trending search. The topic of Bai Ningbing's ex-boyfriend is all over the top. It's even trending now. A bad feeling surged in my chest. Then I remembered. Last night I had sent a message to Bai Ningbing. At that time, Mingyu wanted to log into my SP membership account to watch a show. I originally meant to send the verification code to him, but I accidentally sent it to Bai Ningbing. She thought what I sent her was the hotel room number, and that I'd be there within half an hour. Not only that, she tried to cover it up and told me her ABS were looking great. Hey, my buddies in the entertainment industry watch MN every day. Do you really think I'd be interested in her ABS? I immediately clarified the misunderstanding, told her I sent it to the wrong person. It wasn't until I turned on my phone this morning and saw the message that Bai Ningbing had actually replied to me with 99 plus. Sent it to the wrong person. What does that mean? You scared little man. Are you backing out already? Or are you inviting someone else? You clearly invited me first. If you dare invite someone else, I'll call the cops and have you arrested at the hotel door. Just kidding. I'd never do anything to hurt you. Why go for someone else? Do you think I'm not as good as other women? ABS, JPG. Slipped and clicked the wrong thing. Wasn't meant to send it. You probably didn't see it just now, right? Another angle of the ABS, JPG. Alright, I admit I was asking for it a bit too often before. I pushed you a bit too much. I promise I'll reduce the frequency from now on. I'll keep it within 7 times a week. 6 times a week. It won't be any less. Why aren't you replying? Has it already started? Don't do it with her. I'm just worried you'll get tricked. Please just reply to me, okay? Heartbroken puppy caught in the rain, JPG. I'm already by the door. You guys are being so loud. Is it my fault I'm late? I can't bring myself to bless you. Leaving is my way of setting you free. I felt dizzy reading this. What on earth is going on? I just sent a few words. She's turned it into a whole Hammurabi code in her head. And she actually went to the hotel. Well, now she's a top-tier singer. Always keeping that cold, aloof image. Each love song more sorrowful than the last. I thought she'd grown up. But behind the scenes, she's still the same naive and delusional person. A classic case of extreme love brain. I took a deep breath, summoned the courage to open trending search. Terms related to Bai Ningbing took up half of the top spots. It turns out, last night, Bai Ningbing lost control at the hotel door. It was captured by several passers-by and uploaded online. In SP, Bai Ningbing was clinging to a tree outside the hotel, crying like a kettle with the lid off. I had rushed over as quickly as I could. Why was I still a step behind? Is she really better than me? She sang through her tears. I loved so humbly. Like a clown. You left without a sound. Not even a wave goodbye. The comment section was flooded with onlookers. Bai Ningbing is actually a love-struck fool. Can't believe it. This ex-boyfriend is kind of impressive. Sounds like he called both Bai Ningbing and another woman to the hotel, but Bai Ningbing was a step too late. He'd already checked in with another woman. That's too much. We must protect our Bingbing. She deserves to find someone better. Like me. Who is her ex, anyway? Someone in the industry? Can we do a background check? I was trembling inside. I closed my eyes in despair. This situation is worse than I imagined. Fortunately, when I was dating Bai Ningbing, I kept it well under wraps. And back then, I was just a nobody. Not many people knew me. So even though it trended for a few hours, no one managed to dig me up. Only my buddy Mingyu knew the full story. No way! So you're telling me this whole mess happened because you sent her the wrong verification code? Mingyu was speechless. I sighed heavily. Yes. I was going to message Bai Ningmu to clear things up. But just after sending "it's not the room number," I realized Bai Ningbing had already deleted me. She even posted a sad little essay on Weibo. The moment I deleted you, I finally let go. We can never go back. But having had something beautiful is still a kind of ending. From now on, a one-way journey alone. A life of solitude. Even if I miss you, I won't disturb you again. The comment section exploded once more. Bing, don't cry. Your ex doesn't deserve you. Sis, is this the lyrics to a new song? Shouldn't say it. She's doing this. Bai Ningbing must be writing even more heartbreaking love songs. The fans are in for a treat. Bai Ningbing cried until her voice cracked. But the fans in the comment section were laughing and celebrating, caught up in the joy of a new song coming soon. Mingyu was scrolling through Weibo. He let out a couple of snorts. Bai Ningbing's got it bad. If love brain were a crime, she'd definitely get life. But don't worry too much. As long as your chat logs aren't leaked, no one will know it's you. Once this storm passes, everything will blow over. He wouldn't have mentioned it if it weren't for me. But now that he did, my heart sank entirely. There's no avoiding this. I looked like I was about to lose it, like a mourner at a funeral. This afternoon, I had to record a variety show. Both Bai Ningbing and I had to go. Some people are still alive, but they've already been buried. When I arrived at the recording location and saw the seating arrangement, I almost passed out. The main table in the studio was a round table, and Bai Ningbing's seat and mine were right next to each other. Who arranged this seating? At that moment, Bai Ningbing was already sitting by the round table, following the director's instructions. I sat down next to her. In an instant, her body went stiff. She didn't even dare to look at me. She deliberately turned her face away, her entire body angled 45 degrees, staring at the ceiling, like a proud statue. Her trying so hard to look aloof made me want to laugh without even meaning to. But just as I was about to smirk, Bai Ningbing turned her face toward me, her gaze filled with sorrow, as if saying, "You've hurt me," and then just smiled it off. No way! She was clearly staring at the ceiling. How did she notice I was laughing? I couldn't help but feel guilty. I lowered my voice to explain. Actually, about the message from last night. As soon as I opened my mouth, Bai Ningbing's face changed dramatically. She deliberately interrupted me, asking the director, "When does the show start?" Her attitude was all "I'm not listening," like a heroine from a Keong Yao drama. I didn't even have a chance to explain, and then the show started. The variety show was called Goodbye, Lover. It was the first breakup-themed show in the country. The program selected 3 ex-couples to reflect on the beautiful moments of their love and analyze the issues they faced in their relationships. But we weren't one of the ex-couples chosen by the show. We were the celebrity guests in the observation room. 2 days ago, the 3 ex-couples had already finished recording the first episode, and we were brought in to discuss their ups and downs from a third-party perspective. We were there to analyze the sweet, sour, bitter parts of their love lives. So, what was the reason for your breakup? This was the first question the show asked the 3 ex-couples. After hearing their answers, it was time for the observation room's discussion. Everyone knew that Bai Ningbing had been deeply hurt by her ex last night, but no one expected the host would go straight into it. I think the reasons for these breakups are all understandable. But Bai Ningbing, as a top-tier pop star, so beautiful and successful, I really can't imagine why your ex would want to break up with you. Wait a minute. The discussion was supposed to be about those 3 couples. Why did it suddenly turn into a public trial of me? I saw Bai Ningbing rub her reddened nose and speak with a hint of bitterness. He told me that close relatives can't get married, so he wanted to break up with me. The host was shocked. What do you mean close relatives? Are you siblings who were separated at birth? Bai Ningbing gritted her teeth, each word seeming to be squeezed through clenched teeth. He said, "We have the same mother. Her name is China." I closed my eyes in despair. I wished I could disappear into the ground. As expected, all the guests were in shock. Some guests started defending Bai Ningbing. He must be making this up. Who would use such an absurd excuse? Bai Ningbing immediately rebutted. Impossible. He's the kindest man I've ever known. He wouldn't do something like that. Kind enough to invite you and another woman to a hotel room? As soon as these words left my mouth, the entire room fell silent. All eyes turned to Bai Ningbing, waiting to see how she would explain herself. Her eyes were slightly red. She lowered her head and softly explained, "It's not his fault. He just sent the room number to the wrong person. I was the one who misinterpreted things. I thought he was coming back to me." One of the guests widened their eyes. What? This is getting wild. He sent you the hotel room number? And what else did he say? He just sent the room number. After a while, he said it was a mistake. Maybe at the moment he sent it to someone else. I couldn't help but think of our past, where he accidentally sent it to me. He must have had some feelings for me back then. The guests in the room had expressions that screamed, "This is too much." They were already done trying to advise me. The bullet comments in the live broadcast also started to boil over. Room number sent to the wrong person. Must have been on purpose. He's just taking advantage of Bai Ningbing's love-struck brain. No, seriously. Your ex went to a hotel with someone else, and you're still reminiscing about your past love? Man, you really are hard-headed. Can anyone tell me which direction I should kneel to meet a love-struck handsome guy like this? I also want to scam a few of these. Everyone was lamenting in despair, except for me, sitting quietly like a chicken. After all the guests shared their opinions, the host finally noticed me, the fish that slipped through the cracks. Fang Yuan, what do you think? I couldn't help but glance at Bai Ningbing. She looked uneasy, her gaze lowered. Her hands were nervously crumpling her pants under the table. I had no doubt. If we weren't in a broadcast studio right now, she would have already covered her ears and run away. I suddenly became curious about her reaction when she found out the truth. So I cleared my throat and slowly began. Is it possible that the numbers he sent you weren't the room number, but had another meaning? The host frowned and asked a verification code for a message. White Ningbing's eyes suddenly lit up. Her gaze was incredibly sharp. The other guests were now doubting my theory. How could that be? The anti-fraud campaigns are everywhere now. You can't just send verification codes to random people. And also, verification codes are 6 digits. Room numbers are 3 or 4 digits. They don't match. But then Bai Ningbing suddenly interrupted. Actually, there are 4-digit verification codes. I've seen them before. She looked at me with burning eyes. Her eyes full of hope. You mean the code he sent was just a verification code? He didn't go to a hotel with someone else? Is that true? How could she ask me that? In this storm of gossip, I definitely can't reveal anything. I could only smile slightly. Maybe he did want to explain it to you. But I saw on your Weibo that you've already deleted him. It's all my fault. Bai Ningbing immediately started to self-reflect. She asked me in frustration, then tell me, if I add him back, do you think he'll accept it? I don't know about that. The host immediately jumped in. That's easy enough. Bai Ningbing, just add him right now. Let's see if your ex agrees. Everyone in the room had a look of eager anticipation. Even the director was preparing to project it on the screen. I immediately got nervous. A lot of people in the industry have my WeChat. They can easily recognize my profile picture. If they project it, I'd be exposed in an instant. Before Bai Ningbing could say anything, I quickly declined. Let Bai Ningbing have some space. They've already broken up. Don't make them reopen old wounds in front of everyone. As soon as I said that, the comments section immediately supported me. What's wrong with the host? Digging into someone's wound for the sake of views. Although I do want to eat some popcorn too. But Bai Ningbing looked like she was about to break. Leave the kid some dignity. Plus 10,086 to Fang Yuan's popularity. He must have noticed how hurt Bai Ningbing was. When others criticized her, he stayed silent and comforted Bai Ningbing by saying it was just a wrong verification code. He saved her face. Really high emotional intelligence. Fang Yuan is such a kind little angel. Bai Ningbing, forget the bad guy. Look at Fang Yuan. I think he'd treat you really well. I think so too. Although Fang Yuan isn't as big a star as Bai Ningbing, he's handsome, approachable, gentle, and a good actor. And there are never any rumors about him. Some people have already said he's the ideal guy in the entertainment industry. If my sister were with him, fans would be at ease. Bai Ningbing, forget about the bad men. Go after Fang Yuan, who's right by your side. I smiled calmly on the outside, but was freaking out on the inside. If the netizens found out that the bad guy and Fang Yuan are the same person, I might not even be able to bury myself. After the show ended, I rushed to escape. Bai Ningbing originally wanted to stop me, but she was surrounded by fans. I breathed a sigh of relief. At least I survived today's ordeal. I took a nap in the car. Who would have thought? As soon as I opened my eyes, I received Bai Ningbing's friend request. A bunch of messages. Was that really just a verification code? Was it or not? The recording today earned 2 million. I'll transfer all of it to you. Please. Tell me it was really just a verification code. Fine. You were probably just trying to comfort me on the show. Even if not, I'll accept it. At least you put some effort into comforting me. Why haven't you accepted my friend request yet? I was wrong. Please, let me add you back, okay? How could a simple friend request turn into a full-blown chat? If you don't accept it soon, she's going to have a meltdown right here. I sighed, accepted the friend request. She immediately got excited and sent a happy dog sticker. I replied, it really was just a verification code. I meant to send it to Mingyu. Bai Ningbing instantly sent back 8 exclamation marks. I knew it. You're so kind. You'd never lie to me. The dog is dancing. Actually, the picture of my ABS last night was intentionally sent to you. I said you weren't allowed to look at it before, but I was just pretending to be modest. After we broke up, I've been working out. I just wanted to make sure you'd be satisfied if we got back together. Do you want to take another look? I can even record a 360-degree SP for you. I saw her starting to draft the Hammurabi Code again. I quickly stopped her. No need. I already transferred the money back to you. If there's nothing else, I'm going to take off my makeup. No need to reply. Bai Ningbing immediately became obedient. Got it. I saw in a horoscope description that your star sign just doesn't like replying to messages. It's not your fault. All the money I earn is yours. If you don't want it now, I'll save it for you. When we get back together, I'll give it all to you. I'm not trying to rush you into getting back together. Take things at your own pace. I promise I'll go along with it. After that message, she really didn't reply. I felt relieved and went to take off my makeup and wash up. The tension I'd been holding all day finally eased off. Even though there are still a few more episodes to record, now that I've survived the peak of the hype, it should be easier from here on. But unexpectedly, as I lay in bed, ready to close my eyes, Mingyu's call came through again. Fang Yuan, quick, check Weibo. You and Bai Ningbing are trending again. Wasn't it trending this morning? I was already numb to it. It's not the same. The morning trend was about Bai Ningbing's ex. Didn't even mention your name. But now, your name is all over the trending list with Bai Ningbing. What? My mind went blank. I quickly opened Weibo. It all started after today's show ended. A small fan base for Bai Ningbing and me, calling us a CP couple pairing. Their goal was to have Bai Ningbing's ex come back to chase after me, the guy they saw as the right one. It was originally just for fun. But unexpectedly, Bai Ningbing actually followed the topic and liked the fan-edited SP video. The influence of a top celebrity is enormous. In just a few minutes, the topic exploded and hit the trending list. Bai Ningbing and Fang Yuan's tags were instantly trending in the top spots. Bai Ningbing's fans were overjoyed. Bingji is finally ready to let go of the past. Good for her. I used to not want Bingji to date, but after learning how deeply her ex hurt her, I really hope there's a man who can heal her. Out with the old, in with the new. I think Fang Yuan would be a good match for her. Chances for me and Bai Ningbing to appear together are rare. Today's variety show footage has been edited and replayed over and over. Many small details are now under a magnifying glass. For example, the way I secretly watched Bai Ningbing. For example, Bai Ningbing purposely avoiding my gaze out of nervousness, and when our eyes met, the awkwardness. What was supposed to be a breakup variety show somehow turned into a sugar-coated variety show featuring me and Bai Ningbing. Fans rushed to leave comments on the official Goodbye Lovers page. Can you give Bai Ningbing and Fang Yuan more time together? Let Bai Ningbing forget about that jerk of an ex. The production team caught on quickly, okay? They arranged it. For the next episode, the team had for observation guests enter a villa to live with 3 pairs of ex-couples, helping them work through their emotional issues. This way, I get more opportunities to interact with Bai Ningbing in different situations. CP fans are happy. Bai Ningbing is happy. I, on the other hand, am about to cry. I'm getting paid to be an observation guest, but I still have to live and eat with my ex, helping other people work through their breakup issues when we still haven't even figured out our own problems. Bai Ningbing and I broke up 2 years ago. Before all this, we were together for 3 years. To be fair, Bai Ningbing treated me very well. When we were in different cities, she would video call me every day to report her schedule. When we were in the same city, she'd take care of all the housework as soon as she got home. Whenever she had free time, she would pester me for kisses. But between us, There were also many unresolved issues. Bai Ningbing is a singer, and I'm an actor. She became famous very early. Her popularity far surpassed mine. I've been working hard for years, moving between various productions, but I always ended up playing supporting roles. Bai Ningbing knew I loved acting, and she used to support me a lot. But once, during a martial arts scene, a wire broke. I ended up in the hospital with a fracture. At that time, Bai Ningbing was busy with a live show. She couldn't leave. By the time she arrived at the hospital, she saw me lying in the bed, pale and weak. That's when she got scared. From then on, she started restricting my schedules. She didn't want me to take on any risky roles. She canceled a lot of her own work and secretly came to the set to watch over me. I truly loved her, but I also felt exhausted. We fought about this countless times, but Bai Ningbing still worried excessively. She tried to filter out all the scripts that might pose any risk. She even told me to give up acting, saying that she would support me. This made me cautious. Eventually, I made the difficult decision to break up. I knew, no matter what reasons I gave, Bai Ningbing would do everything to keep me. So I simply chose an absurd excuse. Then I turned around and joined the new drama. This drama allowed me to make a name for myself in the industry. My popularity gradually increased. In just 2 years, I became a rising star in the acting world. I was even invited to participate in variety shows. Sitting next to Bai Ningbing, I could clearly feel that she wanted to get back together. But I didn't want to, unless the issues that blocked us in the past are solved. Getting back together would just be repeating the same mistakes. The 3 broken-up couples were staying in a villa on the outskirts of town. The program team arranged a car to take the for observation guests there. The online discussions continued to heat up. The other 2 guests were thoughtful enough to sit in the front, leaving the back seat for me and Bai Ningbing. The first half of the journey was relatively normal. In the second half, several guests started to close their eyes and rest. I too looked out the window, trying to avoid too much contact with Bai Ningbing. Suddenly, I felt a head lean on my shoulder. It was Bai Ningbing. It seemed like she had fallen asleep. Her soft hair brushed against my shoulder. The fresh scent of shampoo drifted into my nose, but I knew she was pretending. Otherwise, how could her ears be so red if she was really asleep? I sighed. I slightly moved my shoulder, and Bai Ningbing immediately woke up. "Mr. Fang, my head hurts. I think I got motion sickness," she weakly murmured, her voice carrying a sense of discomfort and distress. "Can I lean on your shoulder? It'll make me feel better." "Of course, but if it's inconvenient, then never mind. The camera is right in front of us." Could I say no? But seeing her look like she was genuinely uncomfortable, I couldn't help but soften. I didn't move again. The bullet screen was instantly flooded with question marks. What's going on? Why has Bai Ningbing suddenly become so delicate? Never mind if it's inconvenient. Listening to that tone of feigned reluctance. And Fang Yuan didn't refuse? Yuan. Feeling dizzy. Let me lean. Originally, I was just looking for signs of sweetness, but I ended up being fed a whole spoonful of it. Not sure. Let's wait and see. Bai Ningbing stayed on my shoulder the whole way, until we reached the countryside villa. Thank you, Mr. Fang. Leaning on your shoulder really helped. Bai Ningbing completely changed her evasive attitude from the studio, and started actively looking for reasons to talk to me. I calmly nodded, my attitude neither too warm nor too cold, clearly defining our relationship as just colleagues. The 3 broken-up couples came out to greet us, and they teased. "Seeing you two is like a bad student meeting the teacher grading papers." Last episode, we were analyzing their situations in the studio, and now we were right there with them. It felt a bit weird. To lighten the mood, the program team set up a little game. They had the male guests of the broken-up couples wear blindfolds and try to identify their exes by touching their hands. The 3 female guests found it too easy. So the program team asked me and another female observer to join in. The result? All 3 of the men failed miserably. Not a single one of them guessed right. The bullet screen roasted them hard. No wonder they broke up. They can't even recognize their ex's hand. What's going on? When Fang Yuan touched the female observer's hand, why did Bai Ningbing look so melancholic? Something's off. This girl's not acting right, as if answering the bullet screen. The next second, Bai Ningbing actually raised her hand. Are you all doing this on purpose? How can you not even recognize your ex's hand? I'm a colleague of Mr. Fang. I feel like I could easily identify his hand. The CP ship between Bai Ningbing and me was gaining steam. This kind of attention was like a gift from the heavens, and the director was clearly happy to see it. So they let Bai Ningbing give it a try, to see if she could recognize my hand among the male guests. Bai Ningbing had her blindfold on. She walked up to me and the other male guests, but instead of testing each hand, she sniffed the air, then directly walked up to me. She grabbed my hand and felt it. The familiar yet distant sensation flooded my mind. It was always these hands, the ones that held hers, that guided me to sleep through countless nights. The warmth of her hand, it was still the same as before. It's you, Mr. Fang. Bai Ningbing took off her blindfold. Her bright eyes, full of smiles, met mine. My heart, for a moment, skipped a beat. Even the bullet screen noticed something was off. Look at the way Bai Ningbing is gazing at him. Could Fang Yuan be that ex of Bai Ningbing? Oh my! I've been trashing her ex all this time. Some were hoping Fang Yuan would be the new guy. Turns out, these two are the same person. Well, not for sure. Let's wait and see. After the game ended, it was time for a break and casual chatting. I had just stepped out of the bathroom when I saw Bai Ningbing waiting for me outside. No cameras here. It was a blind spot. She saw me and silently stood there, with a look in her eyes that seemed full of concern. Yuan, these past 2 years, have you suffered? Her words came out of nowhere, making me ask, what? I could feel it. Compared to before, your hands have gotten rougher. Is it because you're doing all the chores yourself now? That's none of your business. I paused, then decided to remind her. Bai Ningbing, we're already broken up. The moment the words left my mouth, her eyes seemed to shatter. She forced a smile that was more painful than tears. Does breaking up mean I can't care about you? I responded. Does quitting a job mean you can still get paid? Bai Ningbing fell silent for a moment, then quietly said, I know. You've already fired me. I don't want any pay. I just want to be your free labor. I sighed. Bai Ningbing, you need to remember your role. We're here as observers. The 3 couples are the real stars. They're the show's main focus. But you're the star of my life. Please be professional. This is a breakup show, not a dating show. I know. Bai Ningbing's nose turned red from my criticism, her voice trembling, barely holding back her tears. I'm usually very professional, but if I miss this chance to be with you, you might never want to see me again. I hope you'll give me another chance. I swear I'll do better. Her words cut through me. Like a knife to my heart, memories flooded back, painfully reminding me of what we had. I flinched. Saying I didn't miss her would be a lie, but there are more important things in my life. If it's the same result again, it's just mutual destruction. Bai Ningbing, I sighed, determined to sever the ties. I don't love you anymore. She listened in silence, her dark eyes staring into mine, not blinking. Tears seemed to glisten in her eyes, making her vision blur. For a long time, she finally asked, So, You really don't want me anymore? Her heart was shattered. Like a drenched puppy. I thought I had already become numb, but seeing her like this, my chest still tightened, breathing hard. My nose suddenly stung. I blinked hard, fighting to hold back the tears. I turned away, forcing myself to be cold. Let's go. They'll be looking for us soon. I guess I hurt her badly. For the next 3 days, Bai Ningbing didn't deliberately push my buttons anymore. We observed the 3 broken up couples, analyzing their situations from an outsider's perspective, helping them understand themselves better and learn from their experiences. One of the couple's situation was strikingly similar to mine and Bai Ningbing's back then. The man's career was stronger than the woman's. He felt bad for her hard work and wanted her to quit her job so he could support her. He didn't understand that even though he thought he was doing what was best for her, why she insisted on breaking up. I was just about to explain when Bai Ningbing interrupted, speaking up excitedly. Does a woman always have to cling to a man like a vine? She wants to walk beside you, not just be your flower. Isn't that enough? A man's AQ attraction quotient is limited. If she stays at home full-time, her happiness in the future depends entirely on your conscience. And if you threaten and complain because she doesn't want to give up her work, it shows you have no conscience. If she doesn't suffer from the hardships of work, does that mean she has to suffer from yours? Work hardships might bring results, but the hardships of men might lead to nothing. Her success or failure shouldn't be for you to decide, but based on her own feelings. If she wants to relax and stay home, you should provide a comfortable environment for her. If she wants to go out and strive, you should offer her understanding and support. A man should never be a burden to a woman, but should be the wings that help her fly higher. Respect her, make her happy, and not confine her. Don't try to make your partner live in the persona you've set for them. Whether the flower blooms or not, it's still a flower. Whether or not you're there, she is still herself. If you don't wake up now, you'll end up like me chasing after a husband at the crematorium. Even after burning, you still won't get him back. This series of outputs is dense and urgent, with almost no pause. It stunned everyone. Before Bai Ningbing's comments were mostly gentle, like a spring breeze. But this was the first time I'd seen her so emotionally charged. The live comments froze. What's going on? From what Sister Bing said, she seems to really feel this. I know she and my ex-boyfriend broke up because of this reason. I think I get it now. Being a love brain is fine, but it's just too clingy. That's what makes you insecure. Actually, it's exhausting for the guy too. But Bai Ningbing's doing well. She's realized the problem, and she's really thought it through. From her love-brain perspective, it takes a lot of time to reflect and truly understand. I also feel a little moved. I couldn't help but glance at Bai Ningbing. We locked eyes. Her gaze was filled with sadness and helplessness, yet there was a faint, almost hopeful expectation in it. It seemed like she was saying, "Look, I really get it now. I'll change." My heart softened. It felt like a snowstorm had settled in me, and now the snow was melting, revealing the first buds of spring. The male guest, stammering, finally managed to say, "But she said she doesn't love me anymore. If I change, do I still have a chance?" Love or not, the mouth can lie, but the heartbeat won't lie. The host pointed to the heart rate monitor beside them, suggesting the male and female guests hold hands and gaze at each other to see their heart rate. The result was unexpected. The woman's heartbeat was very steady, almost cold in fact. The man's showed slight fluctuations, but the intensity was low. They looked at each other in silent understanding. This result caused Bai Ningbing's gaze to dim. Maybe she had subconsciously put herself in their shoes. Could the machine be broken? The host quickly stepped in to fill the silence. Suddenly, the topic shifted. By Ningbing. Why don't you and Mr. Fang try it? See if the machine's faulty? Bai Ningbing was taken aback, looking at me, her eyes cautious, almost hesitant. Mr. Fang, is that okay? I too was curious about how much our heartbeat value had changed since then. I set up the device. We sat facing each other. She reached out her hand. I gently took it. Looking up, our gazes met. In that moment, the whole world seemed to freeze. It felt like an invisible thread tightly connected us. I was lost in her eyes, feeling the warmth of her hand. It silently beckoned me closer to hold her. Wow! The gasps of the other guests behind us brought me back to reality. When I came to, I saw that both Bai Ningbing and my heart rates had completely maxed out. The device was nearly overloaded. Bai Ningbing's face flashed with disbelief, followed by pure joy. She looked at me, smiling like a silly fool. Her joy was contagious, and I found myself smiling softly in return. I forgot to release her hand. The comments section exploded. It's confirmed! Fang Yuan is definitely Bai Ningbing's ex. Alright, if Fang Yuan is Bai Ningbing's ex, I'm willing to believe he really did send the wrong verification code. Quick, check where Fang Yuan was that night. Found it! The paparazzi caught Fang Yuan that night, wearing pajamas, going downstairs to throw out the trash. Then he went back upstairs and didn't come down again. So, Bai Ningbing really mistook the verification code for a room number. What a huge misunderstanding. Bai Ningbing was outside the hotel, hugging a tree and crying. I couldn't help but laugh. Haha, this is amazing. What if this makes the ship sail even more? The soft-hearted, career-focused guy and the whiny, love-driven girl. I'm shipping it for sure. The three broken-up couples. Wait, are we just part of your play? That night, it was our last night in the villa in the suburbs. I'm usually a quick sleeper, but tonight I couldn't. I had always thought my fate with Bai Ningbing had ended. I had deliberately pushed down my feelings, tried not to think about it. But today, the interactions on the show and the heart rate monitor readings made me realize I still loved her, and she truly understood what went wrong in our breakup. Perhaps we still had a chance to start over. I lay in bed, thoughts racing, tossing and turning, unable to sleep. I couldn't resist pulling out my phone. I opened our CP thread. Once I started scrolling, I couldn't stop. I have to admit, it was actually really sweet. The little gestures, the glances. Even I couldn't help but feel the sweetness. My finger slipped, and I accidentally liked a post. By the time I realized, it was too late. It didn't take long for sharp-eyed fans to screenshot my like. I was still regretting it, when suddenly, there was a knock at the door. Bai Ningbing was standing outside, holding a pillow. Yuan, I can't sleep. Can I sleep next to you? Her voice was playful, with a hint of mischief and hope. I lowered my voice. This is a live show. There's a camera outside the bedroom. I've already removed it. She blinked, and I'm feeling sick. Really sick. I felt her forehead. It was burning hot. She was breathing faintly, looking incredibly weak. Ooh ha! I sighed, giving in. Alright, go lie down first. I'll take care of you. Bai Ningbing hugged her pillow, quickly lying down on the bed, as if afraid I'd change my mind. Yuan, aren't you lying down? I'll get you some water. I walked over to the bed with the water, but Bai Ningbing suddenly pulled me into her embrace, her burning head buried in my shoulder, her hot breath brushing my ear. I saw you like the CP thread. You're shipping us, aren't you? Her teasing made me blush. She caught me red-handed. I felt so embarrassed, I wanted to disappear into the floor. Bai Ningbing her face against mine, How about we get back together? I wasn't good before. I ignored your feelings. I promise to change in the future. I'll always respect your wishes. If I make a mistake, you can punish me with a whip. After all, we bought quite a few. I've been saving them for when you come back. At the mention of a whip, images from the past popped into my mind. I couldn't help but turn red. Don't say anything while I'm sick. No, I have to say, I'm afraid you'll stop talking to me after you go back. I won't, I blurted out. Bai Ningbing's eyes widened in surprise. She suddenly brightened up. You mean, you won't ignore me? I lifted my head, looking at her seriously. When you said you wanted to get back together, I agree. I want to give us another chance to. In an instant, Bai Ningbing's eyes sparkled. She shook off her earlier weakness. Now radiant and energetic, she hugged me tightly. I froze. Wait a second. Aren't you sick? That was just me using a hot towel earlier. Otherwise, how could I have gotten you to let me in? Bai Ningbing chuckled. She cupped my face and kissed me deeply. Then, can you give me a title this time? I don't want to be your secret anymore. Can we go public? I laughed. Everyone already knows about us now. Making it public is impossible not to. Bai Ningbing's face lit up with joy. I have to thank my love brain. If I hadn't mistaken the verification code for the room number, how could I have gotten my husband back? A spring night so enchanting, perfect for picking flowers. The wind ruffles the water. The clouds shift and surge. One blissful night. But the next morning, when Bai Ningbing left my room, the fixed camera outside the bedroom was indeed dismantled. But she happened to run into a photographer holding a handheld SXI. Caught in the act. The photographer froze. Bai Ningbing smiled. The fans went wild. CP fans were over the moon, loving this sweet, unexpected revelation. The relationship was confirmed. No more debating how to go public. Now the real issue is, we still have several episodes of Goodbye, Lover to record. How do we face the other guests? How do we handle the relentless gossip and questions? It's easy to imagine. It's going to be a tough battle of digging until the truth comes out. Don't worry, my love brain. It's all my fault. Bai Ningbing wasn't worried at all. She tightly held my hand. As long as I got my husband back, I'm the happiest dog in all of SI. I smiled gently, hooked her little finger, and together we walked into the studio. Later, we walked the red carpet together, stepped onto the stage, walked into the spotlight. We've crossed mountains, rivers, and seas. We've passed through long years. Time rushes forward, bringing the one I love back into my arms. It's a reunion, a dream come true. Fortunately, the one who stunned time is her. And the one who warmed the years is also her.